Well, it's raining out, so I'm just going to give some quick tips from inside on how I learned how to get power on my shot. There'll be a lot of editing because I don't really talk well on camera, so just never mind that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go through how I pick out a hockey stick, and then I'm just going to go through the steps in how I take my wrist snapshot. I pretty much got rid of the old school big wind-up wrister and just have one quick shot now, and it works for me, so if you're interested, here it goes. First, the length of the stick. A lot of people say to cut it off at the nose and bare feet. I cut it off about an inch lower than that, just to get a little bit better stick handling, a little bit better puck control. I find it's more useful to have that puck control than it is to have the length for poke checks and things. One way the flex of the stick helps add power is the longer that the puck is in contact with the blade, the more power it's going to be getting in the shot, the more it's going to accelerate through the motion. With a really stiff stick, it doesn't bend backwards or forwards very much, so it's in contact for just a brief time. With a whippier stick, it can be in contact more both when the puck is behind you and when you're releasing the shot. So you're going to find, typically you'll get a lot more power in your shot. Something a little bit whippier or the proper flex for you versus something that's too stiff. For the flex of the stick is really important. Most people use one that's too stiff. There's an old saying that goes, you take your weight divided by 2 and that's the flex, and if that were true I'd be using 100 flex and I'm nowhere near strong enough. Really it's physics. You're going to use the stick like a lever, and the taller that you are, the longer the stick you're going to have, the more that stick is going to bend. So I go by height. I'm pretty short, I'm 5'8", so I use a 65 flex. If you're 5'10", 5'9", maybe 75 flex is better. If you're 6 foot, about 85 flex, which is regular, and most people using that probably aren't 6 foot tall, it's going to be too stiff for them. If you're 6'2" or taller, or you're really strong, you can use 100 flex. When you're buying a stick, sometimes the flex is different than what's listed. So I just like to grab it about where I would cut it off, put my bottom hand about where I would to shoot, and then just give it a little bit of a lean. Not too much, but just to feel if it flexes, 1 to 2 inches with decent pressure, that's going to be perfect. When you're taking a shot, you're not flexing the stick by leaning into it as hard as you can. You're using the friction of the ice and then just the 6 ounces of the puck. So you really don't want to get something too stiff. So getting to the technique, what I've done is I've broken into several steps. The first is cupping the puck. The second is drawing it in close to the body. The third is the push-pull with the forearms to generate power, and then to snap your wrists to add spin to the puck and follow through towards your target. First thing is cupping the puck, and what that is just bringing the blade over, turning your wrist so that you bring the blade over the puck. And what that does is it traps the puck between the blade and the ice, and it lets you use that friction to add flex, add some power to the shot. The next step is to bring the puck in close to the body. And if you watch any really good players like Kovalchuk, Ovechkin, they bring the puck in close to the body, and it gives them a number of advantages. First, you can lean more into the shot and get more flex and more power into it. The second is it changes the angle on the goalie. Now, if you change the angle by dragging that puck in 2 or 3 feet, he's going to have to move over, and that's going to give you room to shoot around him, or he's going to stand still, and once you move the puck over, you can shoot to the near side. After the puck's been pulled close to the body, there's a push-pull with the forearms, and that's the main way that you generate power. The best description I've seen for this is to hold the stick about a forearm length apart between your hands, and then to pull back with your top hand, and to push with your bottom hand. If you just pull back, it's going to generate some power because you're moving a small distance here and a large distance at the blade. But when you add a push component, you can hear the air rushing right there. That's the main way you're going to generate power. So if you don't do this push-pull, it's basically a pass. That's as much power as I can generate. But when you do that push-pull, you can hear there's going to be a lot more friction, a lot more flex, a lot more power in the shot. One more thing I found with that push-pull technique is to control the height of the shot. If you do just an aggressive push-pull, you'll see the blade ends up high, and that means the shot's going to go high. If you don't push as much or don't pull back as much, you can keep, almost like you're cross-checking, you can keep that puck lower. And you're not going to have as strong a shot, which is why you typically see big shooters going for the top corners. You can get your harder shot going high, but you'll be able to still get a lot of power on the shot and go low. Lastly, as you do this push-pull and you draw the puck across the body, the blade is going to open up somewhat. It's kind of a more advanced thing after you get the rest of the technique down, but if you roll your wrists over, you can actually add a little extra snap at the toe there, and that's going to get the puck to get a lot more spin, to fly pretty flat like a frisbee. It just adds a little more power and zip to the shot. Lastly is the follow-through, and that's simply just pointing to where you want the puck to go. You want it to go high, you point high. You want it to go low, you point low. Left, right, the puck will go wherever you point. So that's basically how I take my shot. I cup the puck, bring it in close to the body, do a push-pull, snap the toe of the blade down right at the end of the shot, and point towards where I want it to go.